Welcome back, everybody, to the Breakdown Podcast YouTube channel. My name's Corey, and in this video, we are going to be breaking down the latest episode of The Masked Singer. And with me today is my co-host in crime, it's Vic.
That's me, and you got it right on the first try, my friend. Good job, good job.
I'm learning. Big brain.
Welcome back, everybody. Happy to be here. Let's talk about The Masked Singer.
Yeah, before we get into it, we do want to let you know we do our show live on Tuesdays on Twitch at 7 p.m. Eastern. Just go to twitch.tv/MillerKing_51. The link is in the description below.
So this week's episode is the Spicy Six. Our last six contestants, starting out with Yeti, who actually, you know what? First, we have a new co-host this week. Chrissy Metz from This Is Us. She co-hosts today and on this episode, and I don't remember ever seeing her on the show before, but she actually had some pretty insightful guesses on, well, not really insightful because we don't know whether they're right. We know one of them wasn't, but she had some really good detection skills on deciding who she thought the individual masked singers were. So I give her props for that, and much better than Ken's. So much better than Ken's guesses.
I'm beginning to think they're just trolling us with Ken's guesses.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much what it always is, because he's got to be the funny guy, you know. He can't be the straight man. He couldn't be the straight man. So we started off with Amari. Oh, sorry. We started off with my guess for Yeti, who is Amarion. I'm just saying that's going to be who it is.
Amarion.
Amarion. God damn it. He did Rob Bass, It Takes Two, which was a good song. He kind of changed it a little bit for himself and added Yeti in there a number of times. I liked it.
I noticed that because that's usually where I put my name.
Oh, is it? Hold on. What do you say?
Gonzo.
I'm Gonzo and I came to get down.
I'm not internationally known, but I'm known to rock a microphone. I get stupid. I get outrageous. Stay away from me if you're contagious.
Okay, that's where you need to stop. Just stop. Did you just say no? Don't say the C word. You'll.
Oh shit! We're on YouTube.
Oh my god! No, yeah, I'll try to find it.
The 52 minutes or something.
Oh my god! So there were a couple of small clues in there. He's a family Yeti, which means he's got kids. Most people do, because that seems to be the going reason for even doing this show. Is I got kids. I needed to do something to get away from them for one, and two to make them smile. So I'm pretty sure that's a thing. Which, by the way, Amarion does have two kids. So I'm just saying, I'm all right. There was a small panda. Don't know the reference to that. Obviously Yeti can dance. Like, he showcased the fact that he is a outstanding dancer. So it's again one of those Bow Wow situations where you have a rapper, he can sing a little bit, he can dance, he can perform, he can work the crowd and get everybody moving, and he's an out fucking standing skater in a Yeti costume for whatever reason, which still impresses me. And then they did this weird thing this week for everybody where they had a X-ray scanner that they all went behind, and as soon as that thing came out, the first thing that came to my mind was like, Chameleon's not going to fit behind that. He's going to have to like duck down. It's like the first thing that came to mind. But he went behind it, and he said he has popcorn on his mind. Yeah, that's another one that I'm not going to reference, but I've already locked in Amarion, so I don't really need to do the research. Any ideas?
My guess actually does have a family as well. We saw a few weeks back, we saw the clues for the donuts. I'm sticking with my locked-in clue or guess of Homer Simpson.
How do you figure they play that out, by the way? How do they make that reveal? If he lose, because I'm sorry, but he should have lost by now if that's the case. But how does he make that reveal? How does that play out?
Just like they did with Kermit.
Oh, it's gonna be a puppet.
No, it'll be Homer Simpson.
So is there going to be like a TV that rises up out of his head and like Homer's face pops on there and talks to us?
No, why would it do that?
How does this work?
He's a real person. Why would that? I don't know.
Oh yeah, moving on. You are delusional. Second up is a Robopine, aka Corey's favorite guy, Porcupine.
You know. Yeah, I have had locked in my vote with Jamie Foxx week 1.
Yeah, and
And
you
I'm
stuck
sticking with it.
hard to it.
And I said that if it ends up being, and you were stuck with Tyrese,
Mhm.
you were sticking with him, and I said if it was Tyrese, I'm calling BS on it because there's so many clues that literally pointed right at Jamie Foxx. However, with this week, I did change my vote to Tyrese, not before they revealed, or not after they revealed who it was. It was before.
During this
I've got-
episode, because of
but it
two
was during
clues.
this episode because of 2 clues, very specific clues. We already knew. I mean, because we've talked on here before about why it was Tyrese, why he thought it was Tyrese. But
And
then,
all clues pointed to, and you should, and I know your brain was trolling last week, and you're like, well, maybe I should switch now because that jeans reference that kicks it over the edge because Jamie Foxx has never been a jeans fucking model.
No, I mean that obviously was a big clue. But having all that in my head, and then the 2 clues that came up in this episode. It did it for me to where I did change it, and I texted you as soon as I did it as well. But it was the clues with the roller coaster, which was made from based on a movie that he was in, which is The Fast and the Furious, and I knew about that ride, so I'm like, okay, and the other one was the Paul Walker thing when he said lost a friend.
So there was
that's clearly it.
There was a huge I've been on this boat a while, but that clue when they start talking about a theme park ride named after him, that blah blah blah, Universal Studios, they like did a huge fanfare about that opening up. So like when that came out, like I was like, okay, these 2 clues basically lock it in, and everyone's like, oh, it could be Tyrese or it could be Vin Diesel. I'm like, you would know if that was Vin Diesel, first of all.
Okay, first of all, no, it's not even close to being Vin Diesel.
First of all, he's not tall enough. Second of all, that voice, you can tell Vin's voice easily, and I don't care if he does try to hide it. It's just been too many things. He's not good at hiding that voice. We know who he is, so there's no way in hell that could be him. So that was a very stupid guess, in my opinion. But so is a ride. There were a couple other things on there that are inconsequential, but they had grade AA butter, 2 eggs, and toast. I don't know what that reference is for, but I'm looking forward for them telling us what it is. There was a thing of strawberry jam on there. And then he talks about the bittersweet loss of his friend, which obviously was Paul Walker from the Fast and Furious.
Which I just saw a new trailer for yesterday.
Yeah, they popped that back out again too. So RoboPine's mind reader, or his X-ray thing, he had a light bulb on his mind, and I was like, okay, so full of ideas. That was my guess. Like, okay, he's full of ideas. He sings, he writes, he acts, he dances, he models, like all these different things. He's an entrepreneur. Like, obviously, he's got a lot of good ideas in his head, and he puts them all out. But then Chrissy Metz brings up the fact that he's from Watts. And I'm like, how many watts, watts is how you say how bright a light bulb is. And then on top of that, he has an album called 2000 Watts. And I'm like, God dang it. Those are like the best 2 guest clues ever. And I completely forgot about them. Though it was pretty short notice. But mine works too. But I will give her credit on the fact that, like, just bringing out the fact that he's from Watts instantaneously goes, Jesus, I'm done.
I wonder if she was fed that information.
I mean, it's very possible. It's very possible. We know, so, like, based on, like, we have to do research on our stuff to come up with the answers, but I know that they just feed them. Like, it's in an earwig. They have an earwig in. They're like, all right, save this.
Yeah.
To pique everybody's interest.
You mean to tell me you knew exactly where Tyrese was from?
I mean, it's not hard to find out. It's right.
No,
I looked it up. I knew it, but I didn't even make that reference even after looking it up.
That's what I'm saying. We would have to look that stuff up. They just happen to know it.
Yeah.
I don't think every celebrity knows where every celebrity is from.
Right.
I have a hard time believing that. So, but yeah. I guess we should have waited to do this one.
It doesn't matter. We can keep going. Keep going. We'll
okay, so Porcupine gets voted off, and we do find out it is Tyrese, making it both check marks for Vic and I.
So this is my thing, though. Looking at who we have left,
Yes.
I'm going. So Tyrese, even though he fucking sang like a champ in this,
Watch it.
is what?
Language.
Sang like a champ? How's that a language?
No, you said that you.
Oh, did I say
you
something
dropped.
else? Oh,
Yes, you did.
Anyway, I don't think that would get. That's not going to get us in as much trouble as you dropping the C word. So
That's probably true. I think we're maybe far enough in the video anyway.
the algorithm's not going that deep.
Nah.
But yeah, so like looking at all of the different clues and everything that are going on with it, I'm just like, okay, I don't think he should have been voted out, in my opinion. I think that his performances were solid. They were strong. You know, they were emotional. They had good range. Like, everything is good. In my opinion, if anyone would have been kicked off this week, it should have actually been Chameleon. Because when it really comes down to it, if you're talking about an actual like musical performance, he's a one-trick pony.
All he's
You know what I
done is
mean?
rap songs.
Yeah, it's a one-trick pony. Like, we
And
know
they
you can
pointed it
rap.
out in the
We
award
yeah,
show.
we know you can rap. We know you are fucking great at it. We know you have those chops, and we know you can, you can do a little bit of a little bop here and there, and you can, but it's all rap music. It's literally
Yeah. I mean, I could do
there's
that.
no range at all. And I was like, if you're gonna kick somebody off, like, I think it should have been Chameleon instead of like popping Robopine,
Mhm.
because he at least sang a diverse group of songs like really well, had a great reaction from the cast and the fans in the audience, if they're real.
And here's the thing.
While they're connected to the Matrix, but I just don't think he should have been voted out.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, Chameleon's been pretty much, and this is no, knock on him.
No,
but he's
100%
done the same.
solid
He's been
performance.
a one-trick pony the
Yeah.
entire time.
But this is my other thing, like, one trick pony, true, and he's been doing a great job. Like, I'm not saying he isn't really good at it, but now think about the fact that they brought Yeti in, and look how well Yeti did doing his one trick. But Yeti also has been able to sing, dance, everything else that Chameleon's been putting on, and Chameleon only has the rap to go.
And the thing of it is, if you do it well enough, you can get the crowd behind you, and that all just always gets overlooked.
So
They've done that every week.
that was my main thought when I saw it, when we got to the end of the episode, he got voted off. I was just like, I think you guys chose wrong. But moving on. Next up,
like we said, we have of the other four that are up here. We all have both of us have the same guess.
Now, so last week I had to switch. I had to jump on the Corey ship because mine sunk. My wife has completely blown me out of the water. She's like, yeah, that's definitely not Adam Levine. She just shot it like a torpedo through the hull of my boat. It was sinking, and I was like, oh, Corey, help me. And I jumped onto your ship. Mainly because we can't confirm that it's Adam Levine's voice, like not Adam Levine, Nick Lachey's voice, because I don't have anything to like match it to. Like, sometimes I can find songs that give you like an idea of like the way they sing, and how they enunciate words and things like that can kind of give you a clue. But I listened to a bunch of his music, and I could not find anything that literally matched up that I was like, yeah, that's definitely him, which is why I wouldn't jump on that ship in the first place, because I couldn't find anything that says, yeah, that's him. And then the football references threw me completely for a loop, and I was like, okay, none of this makes any sense. And then another football reference comes up this week in the episode. We'll get to that in a second. However, we did get this whole long drawn out story about him in college, and he was joined a fraternity, and they shaved their heads as a show of unity. And when he did it, he found out that he has an apple-shaped birthmark on his head. I find it hard to believe that no one knew that was there. Like, are you telling me you've never ever shaved your head once in your life prior to that occasion?
Even that would have been there as a baby.
Yeah. So like, there should have been pictures somewhere that showed you had a giant apple stamp on the side of your head, and I'm sure he's probably
bring notice to it. Make you feel awkward.
Yeah, Steve Jobs probably tried to sue him at one point for copyright infringement, but he talks about how he met a girl in college, and she was like, she's like, oh, don't worry about it, yada yada yada. There was vampire teeth, which I don't know how that fits.
I'm not
him.
real sure where that fits in with Lachey.
There was a chair that had one standing, and then the 2, 3, 4, and 5 were laying down on the bottom of the chair. I don't
Yeah,
know that one either. There were 4 gold bars. I'm gonna assume that that's probably has to do with like gold records, probably. Like
that
maybe
was
they
my
have 4
first
gold
thought.
records or 4. What was it? What's a 4 Grammys maybe? Because those are gold.
Uh, yeah, they
So
are.
maybe it could be that.
Or it could be
Um,
how many, maybe they've gone, they've had 4 albums go gold or something. I don't know
yeah,
how the
that's what I was saying
music
about that.
industry
Yeah,
works. Yeah.
that's a gold. But yeah, but then they went through. He did his performance, and it's it is what it is. And of course, again, he's a very good singer, and that's what was throwing me off. I was like, man, all of those great guesses I had for that stupid football reference to Dante Culpepper, and there's no way in hell he can sing like that. But then they bring up another thing. It says, uh,
He caught a touchdown pass
from Dan
from Dan
Marino.
Marino.
But they were
Now-
like, okay, hold on. Dan Marino threw a football pass to you and you caught it. So you either had to be old enough to play with Dan Marino or be involved with something with Dan Marino. And Dan Marino is pretty prolific in the NFL. So everyone has done something with him. He's been involved in a lot of things. But one of the main things that I remember as soon as they brought this up was when he did Rock and Jock for the Super Bowl in 2004 or whatever it was. And not only was Nick Lachey there, but so was Nick Cannon. And I don't know if you've noticed that a lot of these people have a tie to Nick Cannon in some way, shape, or form. Everyone that performs has some sort of a small tie to Nick Cannon, which is rather
I think
interesting.
I think this one's coincidental though.
Well, I don't know, man, because when he made that touchdown, it was him and Nick Lachey hugging and jumping around and giving each other high fives and stuff. So I think they have a little bit closer of a friendly relationship than they show. But
when they mentioned Dan Marino, my ears perked up because if you're unaware, I grew up a Dolphins fan and especially a Marino fan.
Believe it or not, so did I for a little while.
You had good taste.
No. I switched.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, you got out early.
I did. I very much did.
So, but I got to thinking, I'm like, okay, it's definitely not Mark Clayton. It's definitely not Mark Duper. It's definitely not Jim Jensen. So there are very few. I slowly was able to basically get rid of anybody he ever played with.
Right.
There's no way in hell it was
any of them
guys.
are on The Masked Singer.
Yeah.
There's no way.
So, but going with my belief that it's Nick Lachey, I had to Google Nick Lachey and Dan Marino and came up with what Vic said, which was the Rock and Jock. I thought it may have been from the flag football thing that they do every year before the Super Bowl. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the Rock and Jock.
Well, no, it wasn't. Not at the time. Not now.
Oh.
Not now. It's not the MTV Rock and Jock. The NFL puts it on.
Whatever
city they go into for the Super Bowl.
Oh, that's right. I do remember that. I do remember them doing that.
So I was thinking maybe that's where he caught the touchdown pass. And then seeing that he did it on MTV's Rock and Jock years ago.
Yeah.
I got it right.
Yeah, I'm always looking for, and basically one of my main processes is I type in Nick Cannon, whoever the person is, and whatever the clue is. That's literally part of my process. If you put those 3 things
so you're
in,
cheating.
No, why? How's that cheating? I'm doing the same thing everybody else is doing. I'm coming up with an idea, but you go Nick Cannon, the person you're talking about, and then whatever the clue is, and see if it connects. And if this time it doesn't always, trust me, it does not always work.
No.
But on occasion, like what's her face that was on Wildin' Out with him, that worked then for sure.
Yeah.
But in this case, it came up that I was right, and I didn't remember what year it was, but I do remember them doing a Rock and Jock.
2002 or
it was
something.
2004. I remember them doing it with because I remember The Rock was one of the coaches and Dan Marino was on that episode. So those 2 things I remembered. Those are the only 2 things I really remembered from it. But then I went back and looked at it. And as soon as I pulled up the video and looked at it, the first thing that they show, the first 10 seconds of it, is Nick Cannon catching the football and Nick Lachey running over and giving him like a chest bump and a hug.
Hold on. I'm going to tell you right now. I guarantee you, when Piglet is revealed and that somebody, one of the judges, is going to bring up the Dan Marino thing.
Yeah.
Because they're already going to have that video queued and waiting.
Right.
And they're going to play that video.
More than
guarantee
likely.
it.
Well, Nicole, for whatever reason, out of nowhere, and I don't remember her ever bringing up Nick Lachey before. I want to say that I thought that what's her face did. But yeah,
somebody brought Nick Lachey up, and I think it was Nicole.
Okay, if it was her, then I'll give her props. I just don't remember her doing it, so I was like, "Did you just pull that out of thin air?" Because okay, but with that in the bag, we have locked in our last. So how many episodes do we have left? 2. I think it's 10 episodes per season.
Well, there's 5 left.
Oh, that's true.
They'll probably do 3 on one episode,
and then they do a double pull on the last. No.
They'll probably do. There's probably 3 weeks left.
Okay, so I'll do one more
5
single
to 4, and then so there's 2 episodes. No, yeah, there's probably 3 episodes left because they'll knock all 3 of them out or 2 out on the last episode.
Okay.
So
with that said, moving on to our
Black
next
Swan.
Yes, that's JoJo. Just saying, I said it.
JoJo,
I said it before they even got going. Off of the clues alone, first episode they gave clues that just I knew because I just watched the freaking video and they said some stuff on there that instantaneous. I was like, that's JoJo. I'm locking it in, and I have been locked in with JoJo since day 1, episode 1, before she actually came out and sang.
One other thing too, in last week's episode on the awards show, when they were pointing out different clues in packages that had been shown, one of them was the Montana thing on the backpack that we had mentioned before, and the chicken said that Ken was close,
right?
Because Ken had said she was on Hannah Montana, and he said he was close. That's because she was going to be
Hannah Montana, and she turned it down.
So,
they did bring up some other, some more clues that were very relevant to who she was. A Black Umbrella, don't know that one. But as soon as they saw Umbrella, they were like Rihanna. I was like, it's an umbrella, dude. Not necessarily, it doesn't need to be that literal. Come on. There were 2 drinks on the table. She was a busker, so she would go out and sing for money, on the corners and at things to get money and to just go out and sing, which is a common practice for.
I've been doing that people. With our podcast.
You just go out and start talking about our podcast out in the street with a hat.
I just pretend I'm doing our show.
You put a fedora out and people put money in it.
Yeah.
Where's my cut?
I haven't made anything.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. So she's done that. Her mind reader was Mariah Carey, and her clue to it. Yeah, her clue to that. Honestly, let me tell you, the look on his face. Like, I'm almost positive they held that back from him just to get that actual reaction from him, because it looked like he was like, "What the fuck." I almost said it, but I laughed myself out of it.
He's like, I can't get away from her.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want to talk about this. And then they brought up Christina Milian, and you're like, no, stop it.
Yeah, I didn't get that either. And then until Jenny said something.
It's all about his love life. Yeah, but she said that she surpassed her record. So surpassing her record. Like, there's not a lot of people who surpass Mariah Carey's records when it comes to singing. So it's very possible.
Maybe it doesn't have to do with that. I mean, maybe it's album sales kind of doubt it.
It could also have to do with her being able to hold a note, because Mariah Carey is capable of holding one of the longest notes in music. True. And I know that JoJo has the ability to do that as well. So it could be that. It could be any number of things, but I am 100% positive that this is JoJo. If I am wrong, amazingly enough, if I am wrong, I'll
be surprised.
Yeah, I will be completely surprised. So,
so the next one we have is the Russian nesting dolls, and
now you're just doing it to be mean.
That's what I call them.
Okay.
Yeah, I switched last week to Hanson. And I'm still sticking with that. And I think the reason why there have been weeks where there haven't been all 3 of them singing, it's because when they were a band, they weren't all the singer. Yeah, they all sung like a harmony part. Yeah. But there was only 2. There was one of them was a drummer.
Right.
So I don't think he necessarily sang all the time. So that's why I think that he's not.
He was like
featured.
he was an accompanist, so he would like sing it. He would do the bop part and
Yeah,
the
he'd be back there
oop
doing-
doo wop walk a doo wop whatever. But yeah, you're probably right. Like as far as being a lead singer or like a backup singer, something like that, to where you're actually someone who is up front on the mic, that would make a lot of sense. So having him there because he was part of the actual group the whole time, but not necessarily a singer all the time, that does make a lot of sense. So that's a good catch. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, I like that. This time they only had 2 of them on stage, like you said, but there were some clues. They had 15 cents, a dime, and a nickel. And of course, that plays back to the 15 kids. Of course, that'll be a reference back to that. It may also be like 15 number 1 singles. I don't know, but I'm still going with that. It's about the kids. I'm all going with it's about the kids. There was a walk, which made no sense to me. So I'm sure there's either one of them has a cooking YouTube channel, or
it's probably some obscure reference to something that nobody knows about.
Or he was right, and it's just a play on Bop, and they did walk, which I thought was kind of funny too. But very scripted.
Yes.
There was a white china tea set, made no reference or idea to me. A gold locket. Jenny said there was a belt buckle, which brings us back to a country route. I'm like, I didn't see a belt buckle. I saw the gold medallion, and there was something behind it, which could have been a belt buckle, but it didn't look like it was like a.
It didn't look like a
Western big belt buckle type of situation, but it was something. I'm just not sure what it was.
Yeah, it didn't look like a belt buckle.
Yeah. So their mind reader was a kangaroo. You never know how many of them will be popping out of a kangaroo's pouch, which honestly we do. It's usually only one Joey in a pouch at a time. That's just science, but I'm going to digress. But
I think a person at the zoo could tell you that.
I'm pretty sure that's how that works.
Watch, we're both wrong. Somebody's going to be in the comments going, actually, there can be up to 4 in there.
Like, look, there's 15 there's 15 little Joeys inside of this one pouch. Shut up. But I digress. I could be wrong, but I'm not. I don't think I am. I feel like I watch enough miscellaneous animal things to know that there's usually only one in that pouch.
I've watched enough Steve Irwin to know.
I'm gonna go ask that jacked kangaroo that you see on all the memes.
The one that's always fighting Bugs Bunny.
Hey, how many Joeys were in there with you? You need to tell me right now. But yeah, so I just think Hanson obviously is the correct thing. The funny part is I tripped into this answer, but I've had it from the start. I don't know, like. Because I tripped into it when I say I tripped into it because I thought there were only 2 Hansons.
Yeah.
But then I was informed by my daughter, like, no, there's 3 of them. I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm still could be right. And then they talked about there being 4, and I'm like, nope, I'm wrong. They're screwing us over. And then they're like, no, technically, we're informed that there are actually 4 brothers, thanks to our viewers. And the other brother, Mac, is a singer of his own right and does his own thing. So technically there could be 4, and they're just playing off of that. I'm like, okay. So I've fallen, and I landed in like a well of like gold coins. So unfortunately for me, I'm in a well, but I'm surrounded by gold coins. So there we go. We'll take that as a win. So yeah, after that is, since it's Cinco de Mayo, which doesn't make any reason why Cinco de Mayo plays into this. Chameleon comes in, and he is, as soon as they showed him, I was like, damn, that's a whole lot of UV affected cloth there. And of course,
I noticed that too.
His performance was all black lit, which it looked really good. I will tell you, one of the things that I'm most impressed with about this show is their production value. They don't skimp on the production value. Obviously, the masks are expensive, the suits are expensive, but when it comes to what they're doing with the video effects and coming up with something new and different for each one, like they have very, very good production value on this show, and I'm actually pretty impressed with it. Considering what it is and that there's not a whole lot you can do with a stage and a person standing on it, and but they do a really good job with it. So I'll throw that in there. This one locked it in, obviously. I've been locked in with him for a while. Our viewers helped us come to this conclusion, so we will give this vote to the viewers. We are appreciative of your help. I've used Wiz Khalifa as a guest on other episodes, and I dropped the ball and didn't use it on this one, which was obviously the easiest. I'm like, I'm an idiot. Shut up. Don't say anything.
I'm not saying
but as soon as he said it, I was like, you know what? That's definitely Wiz Khalifa. And this week, if you didn't know, you know, as Corey says, it is 100% Wiz Khalifa. It said that he was a military kid. Wiz Khalifa was born in he was born in Cameroon. He was born in Cameroon, and then his family, because his parents were both military, they moved all over the world. So he was definitely a military kid.
Well, one of the first sentences on his Wikipedia says that he was a military kid. So
exactly.
I'm like, well, I guess that pretty much locks that one in.
So he talks about that and how that made him. He has brownie sales for some reason, a plane, a captain's hat.
Yeah, why did you know? I thought it would be funny if somebody did say Snoop.
It wasn't a bad guess.
It wasn't a bad guess.
If you think about it, One Trick Pony.
He's not from a military.
He's tall. I mean, everything else besides that military guess. Yeah, but you know what?
It doesn't sound like him. Come on.
Guess who's not 60 years old and from Costa Rica? So.
Yeah, but that's the thing. We've been listening to Snoop since 93, 92. So we know what he sounds like, regardless. The cadence of his voice, like it's just like Busta. You can't not hear Busta, and you can't not hear Danny Trejo. You know, like those things are those are something you can't hide. So you would definitely know if that was Snoop. Even if he tried to hide his voice, he wouldn't be able to do it like that. But the funny thing was, they didn't mention, because there was the plane in there. Yeah, and. They said when they said Snoop, they mentioned the plane and said about how he
likes to fly high. She said he likes to fly high.
He likes to fly high. I'm like, hi, Soul Plane. He was in that movie.
Yes, he was, and he was a captain in that movie, wasn't he?
Yes.
And he had the captain's hat, so yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh,
that's act like you know everything about all these celebrities.
I'm just saying. That does give you a very good hit as to it not being Wiz Khalifa, outside of the fact of the military kid. Like that thing alone, like if you wanted to throw somebody off, like that guess, and if they had said, you know, he was a captain of the plane in that would have been put a wrench into some guesses, but it's impossible to think that it is actually him, knowing what we know and
you know what was funny too on the plane? It said Chamillionaire. And I was like, wait a minute. Now hold on.
You mean Chamillionaire?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it said Chamillionaire, but it was spelled like the rapper.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute here.
They are throwing all kinds of red herrings. They're just slapping you in the face with red herrings all over the place. They're like, take this red herring and guess wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I like you. I'm taking Wiz Khalifa as well. That does not mean to sound like I said it. And that leaves us with just the chicken left. We didn't really get any clues for the chicken, but I'm still going Ashton Kutcher, and I think you are still going with Joel McHale, correct?
At the moment, but I'm still working on some of the clues to him. Really, the only one they gave us is that he has a connection to Gremlin, which was not Nick Nolte.
Was Mickey Rourke.
Yeah, Mickey Rourke. I don't know why I said Nick Nolte.
But here's the thing. As it stands, we are tied with the people that are left.
With all the ship jumping.
The chicken. We'll have all the same guesses except for Yeti.
Yep.
Now, if you end up taking Yeti, you'll be up one.
Right.
It could come down to the chicken as being the one that solidifies a tie.
So first of all, there's no chance that I don't take Yeti because your guess is ridiculous. Second of all, even if I get Yeti wrong, we still end up tied unless you get chicken. And if you get chicken and that pulls it out, I'll be like, okay, that's ridiculous.
See, it's either we're going to tie or I'm going to win.
I don't like the idea of that. But I haven't locked in my guess for chicken, so
okay, technically yes, I could lose too and not get chicken right either. But
yeah,
that's not going to happen.
I haven't locked in chicken yet, so I'm still doing my research on him. I'm just having a hard time finding anything that really ties him in because they've only given us like 2 clues about him. So,
I'm sure we'll get some here in the next coming weeks.
This next week, I'm going to make my final definitive guess on Cloodle-Doo. At that point, I think we will have. Are you locking yours in as Ashton Kutcher?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're locked as Ashton Kutcher. The only one I have
of course,
left.
we know, as we know, with this week, my locks don't necessarily stay locked.
I don't know, sir. I think if you lock it, you should have to deal. You should have to live with it.
No,
you lock it in. You lock it in. You lock it in. That's the whole point of locking it in.
You can't go change the rules now.
And who's changing the rules? The rules of locking something in are that it is your final guess. And you know, when you lock something in as your final guess, that's your final guess. You can't be like, on second thought, I didn't win that $1 million, so that wasn't my final guess. I'm going to go back and guess the answer that you just told me. Anybody else? Okay, anybody? Hold on. Nope. This is what we're going to do. We're going to leave it up to the viewers. The viewers are going to set the rule for us. Anyone who believes that we should lock in a guess and that guess cannot be changed moving forward, that's how we're going to do this. And we're going to make sure we're going to do it that way. Now, if our viewers say, no, you can change your mind whenever you want, that's fine. But I think that if I lock in Black Swan at the beginning of the season, and I'm pretty damn confident, I'm locked into that guess. Like, I just have to hope like hell that I'm right. I think that's how it should play out.
Well, just remember, it happened this week where I was for certain it was Jamie Foxx.
Yes.
And then there were those two clues that turned me.
I understand.
See, I should be able to do that.
You can, however, you still have to take the L on the guess. That's my point. You should still, you can jump ship and be like, nope, I think you're right. It is definitely Tyrese. But if you locked it in, you should still take the L for that guess. That's the only fair way to do it.
All right, we'll let the viewers decide. Please put your comments down below of what you think should we be penalized or not get credit for it if we're right.
You get half a point. You get half a point.
Half a point. Okay. With that, we are going to end this video. We thank you so much for watching, and please let us know what you think. And on behalf of Vic,
that's me.
I'm Corey. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you next time.
See ya.